The initial question is, why do we celebrate Rosh Hashanah?
What does this mean? Well, Rosh Hashanah is more of a spiritual celebration than a festive one as such.
Actually, when we connect to that, we are getting ahead of evil because we are breaking every decree of curse and we are establishing a new year.
So that our will is not established, but His will in our lives.
We warmly invite you to come and see what a truly magnificent glory is manifested through the power of His Word. Pastor Jorge Bautista and Pastor Yesenia Garcia. Wow, it's so good to have you with us.
Exactly. It's great to have this opportunity to be able to participate with you here in this segment.
You guys are like, how do they say it? Like a breath of fresh air. You can never get enough of them.
Like everywhere.
You're everywhere. That's great. Today we're already on our way to Rosh Hashanah.
That's right.
Yep.
History repeats itself.
That's right.
It is truly great that we always make this specific stop, because as the ministry continues to grow, more people and more families from other nations are always joining us. Because of that, we really have to do this kind of thorough review and go over everything, just to ensure everyone understands exactly what Rosh Hashanah is and what it represents as such. So the initial question is, why do we celebrate Rosh Hashanah, Pastor Jorge?
Well, the very first thing is that we celebrate what is known as Rosh Hashanah, or what is also called Yom Teruah, the head of the year, because it is truly the celebration of the new biblical year. And this specific reference, for example, that we have in the book of Leviticus in its 23rd chapter from verse 23 to 25, and also in the book of Numbers in chapter 29 from 1 to 6, is the primary biblical basis that refers to what Rosh Hashanah is as such, or as a celebration, which speaks and refers to a holy convocation. What does this mean? Well, Rosh Hashanah is really more of a deeply spiritual celebration than a festive one as such, because of what it truly means. If we start to carefully analyze what it signifies in relation to judgment, to balance, and all those kinds of profound things that we could talk about later, well, we realize that this really is much more of a spiritual observance than a festive celebration.
Of course, 100% spiritual. Even Rosh Hashanah, first day of the year, and it was the first day of many things.
Exactly. For example, it is celebrated that it is the first day of the creation of man, of Adam and Eve. But at the same time, that also connects to the fact that on that date, everything related to the patriarchs like Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Yes.
The matriarchs like Sarah, like Rachel, like Jane. I mean, honestly, they were also a significant part of the celebration of the birth on that specific date.
And something really interesting is that if we look at at the biblical part, it's actually the very first day of the biblical New Year.
Yes, to what is called Tishrei.
Tishrei, yes.
This always falls, right? Tishrei is actually the very first month of the biblical year, marking a significant time of new beginnings.
Yes.
Which can actually be both, because this system is divided into two distinct parts, both the civil calendar and the religious calendar. I mean, it was in the 7th, but in the civil one, it's the first year. Understand? The first month of the year. And in the Gregorian calendar, it always falls between September and October.
You know that this Gregorian calendar is a commercial and political calendar? And there are certainly many different influences here, because it was actually capitalized on as, like a major perk of the powers that at that particular time were the dominant world power. And many don't know that this calendar biblically is not the initial calendar.
No, it has nothing to do with the biblical calendar.
Yes.
Because the Gregorian calendar, which was rather created by Gregory the 13th,
yes.
In the year 1582, the Gregorian calendar was introduced, which replaced the older Julian calendar established by Julius Caesar back in the year 46 BC. It was a significant shift in how we track time.
Sure.
But actually, it's a unique calendar where each individual month is specifically dedicated to these different entities.
That's right.
And actually, 2 full months of that entire period are really quite heavily focused on the specific aspects of the personal glory and the individual legacies of those 2 emperors.
Of course. And that is precisely why when one performs this feast, which is at the same time a powerful way of decreeing, we are truly disconnecting ourselves from all those curses. Because in the end, they are curses. Because they are nothing but fetishism. They are the idolatry that they have established here on this earth. And I like something good that we as a ministry don't say Jewish year, but biblical, because something interesting is that biblically, it's the first day of the year, not just a Jewish issue. It encompasses what is in general, universally, what was decreed as the first day of the year.
That's right, because all of this is connected to what are our pagan festivals.
Yes, that is exactly why we refer to it as a biblical year. Because for us, everything has to do with the prophetic and what is well-founded.
Exactly. For example, before the Jews existed and before the Hebrew people existed,
Yep.
those specific dates were already mentioned there, as well as those months.
Yep.
They were mentioned there. And that is exactly why we cannot simply say that the calendar is, well, entirely straightforward.
Jewish.
Hebrew, Jewish, and so on.
Yep.
But rather that it's the biblical calendar, because the biblical calendar is really what should guide everything related to the world in a complete sense. Although there are many nations, many countries that have their own calendar, like the case of, for example, China, Iran, India, and so on.
Yes.
While many cultures maintain their own unique calendar systems, it is important to note that regardless of these traditions, the Gregorian calendar was eventually adopted by the vast majority of countries where the Catholic Church held significant influence. However, this transition did not occur in many regions where Protestantism or other religious traditions that had absolutely no connection to Catholicism were the dominant faith.
Now, what elements are used in this holiday, Pastor Yesenia?
Well, we use many elements. We use the apple, the honey, which signifies a sweet, pleasant year. We use the pomegranate. We use the pumpkin.
Yes.
We use the fish, the head of the fish. And the important thing is that each of these elements has a spiritual connotation. In other words, it's not just that we use it, but that they have a spiritual connotation. And each element has a declaration.
Sure, because what we make are decrees.
Exactly.
And that is the ceremonial dynamic of that specific moment, where each individual element represents a formal decree.
A decree.
And that is truly very powerful, because we unite as one single body, working together to establish and deeply connect to a general decree.
In general.
In other words, it's a single decree, all united, as the ceremonial part dictates, where the head of the house comes to establish that decree as such. But those decrees have they have a very, very strong spiritual movement. Because imagine, first day of the year, we go before God the Father to decree. It's a day of judgment. It's a day where we're going to cancel all that agenda and all those programs that within the mark of judgment and of sin and of death over the world, we come to make a space so that it's God's things that are established over his children.
That's right.
Exactly. That is really a huge part of the importance of celebrating this feast, because we are consciously disconnecting from all those rigid decrees of the Gregorian calendar to really connect deeply to what the feast is as such, and to truly understand the profound meaning that each of those elements has, which we participate in and eat. It is about reclaiming our time and our traditions.
Sure. Now, what do we release when we connect to this Rosh Hashanah?
Well, what do we release? Well, we free ourselves through those decrees from what is generational, environmental,
All curses.
personal ones. All those curses and marks that we drag along with us, and that as a result of the very same sin in which we incur, we find ourselves repeating many times.
that we go back and fall into the subject of the calendar. We are saying that calendars and all their dates, both every day, every week, every month, all that is aligned to many marks, and each mark has manifestations. And since it is structured in a spiritual realm of evil, principality, you understand? Governors, hosts, all those types of entities, those ranks, they influence those decrees of everything that has been marked through witchcraft. And what does one come to do? To dismantle.
Sure.
That which says it comes to destroy. That which says it comes to establish lust, lewdness, that comes to bring death.
That is how it is.
That out of ignorance, we connected, because when we didn't have knowledge, well, we connected to the Gregorian calendar. So now with this knowledge, now that we have it, and these decrees that we make, we disconnect from here.
Sure.
That through lack of knowledge, through ignorance, we were connected, and we connect to everything prophetic, to everything that flows through here, through the origin, through Genesis.
Sure. I see this as a passageway. For me, Rosh Hashanah is a passageway. A passageway where you come to dodge that which was already destined. But then the purpose within that decree makes a space for you and says, no, go through this tunnel, escape from that mark that had you destined for something else.
Exactly.
That is why what we do in this new year is that our agenda, well, we give it to him so that our will is not established, but his will in our lives.
Now, I would like us to repeat again, how is the date selected, Pastor Jorge?
Well, one of the primary reasons for the variation in the dates between both the biblical calendar and the Gregorian calendar is simply because the biblical calendar is structured quite differently. It consists of 12 months, and the days within those months alternate between 29 and 30 days, which creates that shift.
Okay.
Unlike the Gregorian, which is 30 and 31.
It is 12 months.
Exactly, and it is 12 months. Therefore, when those dates fall, not just the date of Rosh Hashanah, as there are others, Yom Kippur, etc., other festivals too, they always fall outside of the normal Gregorian calendar. And that is precisely why the month of Tishrei, which serves as the very first month of the biblical year, actually falls during the 7th month of the Gregorian calendar, while October is technically the 8th month. So that means that this kind of thing is always going to happen, because it's not the same in terms of days or months.
Sure, because every time it rotates, it's indisputable that it's never going to fall exactly the same, because we're talking about it having to fall within the Gregorian date.
Exactly.
That's why it falls between September and October, almost always, or always, either September or October. And we always do it exactly on the first day, because this holiday lasts up to 3 days, from sunset on the first day until the 3rd, which involves different types of festivities, rest, and a number of details that are carried out. Now, we as a ministry only celebrate Rosh Hashanah, because that first day of the year is when we are presenting everything to God together. So on a Jewish level, they celebrate many holidays, but we are not celebrating a Jewish holiday, we're celebrating a biblical holiday.
Biblical?
And we are going toward God the Father as Christ commanded when he said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. We are going before the Father to say, Father, here we are, decreeing, establishing, so that he may be the one to establish what the judgments against evil are. And that is already a dynamic from which we have seen so much wealth and so much prosperity. As you said earlier, it is truly remarkable how the Lord has prospered us and how he has healed us so holistically as a body that has grown together, and in every way we have been prospered together. So it is a great wealth.
Yes.
Everything we have lived through, because there really is no way to be able to connect to the purpose if it is not through God the Father.
That is precisely why the declarations made at the very end of the Rosh Hashanah celebration are so incredibly important, ensuring that we have a sweet, pleasant year of easy sustenance. It is vital because it is truly connecting us to what is coming in the year ahead. You understand? What's coming? But at the same time, for what's coming, we are already decreeing, blocking everything that has to do with that agenda of evil in that year.
Beforehand.
Because it is actually a very significant prophetic holiday.
Prophetic.
Imagine, this holiday has 2 lines. Number 1, to decree. We are going to establish judgment. That's the first thing. And second, to celebrate what we have already achieved and conquered in that judgment that was established against the enemy. So now we come to celebrate. And what you say about the sweet, pleasant year of easy sustenance is the decree that seals what will be the year that we are going to enjoy. How beautiful that decree is. Now, I would really like Pastor Yesenia for you to please give us a final word and motivate this whole body, these kingdom communities who are watching this moment, this great expectation that we all have as a body.
Yes, I would really like to encourage everyone to truly be a part of this great event and join us. As the apostles said, it's not a Jewish activity, it's a biblical activity, meaning that is where we all truly have to connect. Because really, when we connect to that deeper purpose, we're not just getting ahead of evil, we're breaking every single decree of curse. And in doing so, we are establishing a brand new year. Many times we don't understand everything at first. I say this to the new ones because many times they don't understand. But what I exhort you is to connect to all this prophetic flow that comes from the house and to all this, which is why we do all this gathering, because we really want you to know part of the history and be able to really connect with this great event.
Pastor Jorge, your final words.
Well, I really want to encourage everyone to join together with us to celebrate what is Rosh Hashanah. And at the same time, since it's such a special celebration, we're accustomed to always bringing our first fruits to bring our what has to do with the first fruits. It is a time for us to come together, to reflect on the past year, and to look forward with hope as we offer our first fruits in gratitude.
Yes.
To that event, which is very important because that connects us with what's going to be released and what's going to be unleashed as blessing and prosperity in us throughout that whole year.
Well, we are honestly very happy because we have been celebrating for such a long time now, and we have truly seen how the change has been. It really is an impressive change. When we connect Rosh Hashanah, time extends. We do more in less time, and we see so much grace, so much wisdom, so much prosperity that there's no way to explain it. And if you truly want to have that experience, we warmly invite you to move, be motivated as a body, and reach out to invite your friends, your neighbors, and your families so that they can all connect with us and see what is a glory manifested through His Word. So, Rosh Hashanah, don't just take someone else's word for it.